Hey everybody, it's 20 minutes with Bridgette, and today is July 1st, 2020. And today, sorry about that. No crack, no crack, no. All right. Today is the third class on Pendulum. So let's just take a look at the blog. The blog. Let's have a look at the blog. All right. So this is a blog I did. July 1st, Dowsing Pendulum 3. Here's all the little information. Private sessions with me if people want. And there's the prices and everything for it. Okay, so there are some important things to remember in dowsing. You. If your dowsing isn't work, it's you. If you can't read your dowsing device, it's you. If you can't operate your tools correctly, it's you. So let's just kind of get that out of the way. So I wanted to kind of do, I don't know what I have around here. Sometimes my tools might need a rest, or if you're worried about, energies or things, contaminating your tools or getting into your tools for any reason, shape, or form. What I like to do is just either put them in a box with a lid, right? You can even put a little salt in there. And you can do this with other things that you might suspect that may be cleaning your spiritual tools, but also you can do this if you suspect things are possessed. You buy something, at a thrift store, and you may not put it together all the way, but you didn't clean it properly and you brought it into your house and you've got all kinds of activity going on or negative things happening to you. So you can get a bigger bucket for bigger stuff with a lid and put, like you want to put in a bigger bucket at least 4 inches of salt across the whole bottom. I call it the quarantine, right? And then you can put the items in there, put the lid on, and then just, see what happens with the energy. And if it turns out to be that thing, then you can move forward with getting rid of it, right? Some things cannot be cleaned. It's just how it is. So you can put it in a box, a little salt in the bottom, quarantine your tools. Sometimes you can even put in a little plastic baggie with salt, make sure the item is in the salt, I also like to roll and put myself from, my native teachers in like red material. And then sometimes I'll even take a rubber band and bungee it on there, and then I'll put it in my toolbox. It just depends on how I feel about it and what's going on, but that's kind of, how I operate. And I don't operate that, I don't quarantine things a lot as much anymore because I'm clearer. And I think that plays a lot into it. My intentions, holding my attention, being clearer. And, number one, you're in control of your pendulum. Never let anything or anyone, I don't let other people touch my spiritual tools or my instruments. It's just how it is. And I usually don't show them to people unless I'm out doing a job and they see me using them, or whatever else is going to happen. So I'm in control always. You make the rules of the engagement with the pendulum, how you want to communicate, because there's thousands of beings, good, bad, and indifferent, that you are going to be communicating with. So sometimes things can get really uncertain and unbalanced and not correct, and you're not getting the information, forward that you need to get forward. You need to trust. Once you kind of hook into flows of energy and you're using certain types of beings, for example, water beings, elementals that are, elements and elementals that, would be water related, iodine, things of that nature, some salts, and sometimes mercury. Here in Nevada, we have rivers that have 2 types of mercury. So sometimes I have to, when I'm reading people's properties, I'm going to read for heavy metals that are available for intake, either in a bad or a positive way for people. So, sometimes there will be other things, other elements and elementals in the waterways and underground water sources. So it just really depends. But trust and become confident in using your tools, right? Because, you know, that's what you want to do. That's why you're using them, so you can become more confident. It's always best to start using them on yourself. And the 4th class will talk about, places to use it and, some ideas about that. Especially individuals can use it instead of muscle testing. It's not right for you to, muscle test somebody or douse them to buy your products, because that's an agenda and it's not being unbiased. So that's going to lead you down to some, negative energy seeping in. So, you have to be clear. And you have to be really careful about your personal agenda, especially money stuff and controlling other people. It's really important not to have that in there. You need to ask the right questions to get the right answers. Number 5, you need to be honest with yourself and others, even if the information that comes forward isn't the brightest thing available. You are the connector. The pendulum is just the visible device that's helping you to clue in, like a crutch, crutching your way through. And 7, you decide how, when, why, where you and your tools communicate and are used. And then, yep. Okay, so that's what we have. So we're going to go to the class part. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pendulum tool down. Right. Whew. And if you missed any of these classes, go back because you'll find information that you may have missed. Okay, so I'm going to put on I'm going to do this energetically. I'm going to, shamanize it. So I'm going to grab my thinking cap and I'm going to pull it down, and it's connect to the universe. Yeah. I'm going to put on my thinking cap, get it on. All right. And then I'm going to get into my heart. I'm going to get into the heart of the earth and all living things. I'm going to take in some breaths. And then I'm going to align my heart and my mind. And an extension of that energy with my heart, my left hand, I'm going to put my pendulum in there. I'm going to cover it with my right hand. So I've got female energy, male energy, right brain, left brain happening, which is really why pendulum, dowsing works the best. All right, I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to breathe a current of energy through it, which is just going to go from my heart, right? My heart, it's going to come through my heart, down my left arm, through the pendulum into the right arm and back around. So I'm creating a current as well. Kind of brings everything into the present moment and the now. So I'm also not dowsing the past or the future. And I'm telling the pendulum, that it's an extension of my heart, which is connected to my mind. Okay. All right. so I think like the best way that to be able to do this is kind of to show you um, how I'm going to use the word command any tools that I use, right? Um, so I'm going to tell, there's so many different ways. It's always a yes, no, yes, no. And then I read vibratory stuff on things, right? So I can get a reading on it so I can find out how true it is. So I see an article on the internet, and mostly I feel my way through this stuff now. I only use pendulums when I go out to jobs mostly because, people need to see that sometimes that, excuse me, that I'm actively doing something, right? That maybe it's not just me giving them information, but I'm pulling information in, which makes them feel more comfortable, right? Because it's really tough for people to deal with people who have abilities, and that's just what I found. So it's not that I dumb myself down, but I people need to see something else, right? So it's got to be a multifaceted experience that helps them to calm down and be at peace, and to settle in a little bit. So so I've been working with pendulums so long that I can pick up anything and it'll dowse for me in the way that I want it to dowse. So we're going to have two parts: how to decide what your yes and no's are going to look like, right? And stay with it. Don't just keep going all over, because then you'll cause more confusion to the pendulum and the environment and the other beings and yourself. And then it's not good to have a lot of that confusion, right? And it's unnecessary. Okay, so what I always do is I clockwise, so it's going to spin clockwise. Clockwise is my yes. And then I'm going to ask it to pause. Okay, so, and then counterclockwise is going to be my no. Now, something we talked about, and usually if it goes back and forth for me, right? If it goes back and forth without a really directed spin, that means that I know that everything's unbalanced and there is no reading one way or the other, right? So that means I have to ask another question, right? I have to pose another question to read the information, right? And sometimes it'll just be unbalanced. So sometimes, say for example, if I'm in the grocery store and I'm dowsing, a pile of oranges, because I want the best nutritional dense ones for me, not for everybody else, but for me. So I'll actually go over oranges as I pick them up and put them in the basket as I douse a pile of oranges. And it's just like, I want the best possible nutrient dense oranges for me out of this pile, not for everybody else, not reading for everybody else, right? It's you, and you. And then if I get readings like that are going back and forth, I know that there's probably something wrong with the orange. So, and then if it's, a no, then I don't go for it either. Okay. So that's kind of like how I douse, and how I'm going to read energy, right? So we'll just go ahead and do a test drive, right? All right. I have this really cool rock that came to me. Actually, I found it, but I know it was meant for me because it has a triangular barcode on it. I tried to show this before. So I've been taking it everywhere because it's collecting data and information. So it's probably, kind of go out there a little bit. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find out that I've had a lot of extraterrestrial experiences. So, you know, it's probably downloading, right? So, and so I take it to download as much information all over so that it can get kind of clear information. So when it's downloaded by whoever it's going to be downloaded by, it'll have a lot of information in it. You know, how we live, how we feel, how we get along, what our environment's like. Stones pick up all that information. I have an awesome story about this Cherokee woman in New Mexico when I was there, who read me from a huge triangle, you know, pyramid stone that she brought in this, you know, towel, and set it up. And for 20 minutes, I just put my hands on it and was quiet. And she could read all my vital signs through it, my pulse, the condition of all my organs, and just, you know, a lot of other things. So, you know, stones are amazing. They give us data and information, and then they can download them. Steiner talks a lot about the mineral kingdom being reflective or mirror consciousness, right? And so, okay, so I'm just going to ask some questions about the stone, right? All right, so let's see what we got. Is the stone down? Is it downed? Is it done downloading? Yes. So it also comes into play, right? So when you have these little subtle spins, the longer your string and the heavier your pendulum, the easier it's going to be for you to read, right? In the beginning, right? As you're getting your feet wet. And let me go back for a minute. You could do counterclockwise as yes, clockwise as no. You could do like north and south kind of thing as a yes, and east and west this way as a no. You could do like don't do anything if it's a no. You know, spin in either direction if it's a yes. I mean, so you are in control. But once you make the decision about how you're going to communicate with the outside world and the cosmos and the unseen, the information and data, you need to stay with it, right? And don't make it complicated, because then you're going to get frustrated, your information's not going to be clear, and, you know, don't make it about everybody else. Make it about you. It's the best thing to do, okay? So, all right, so, you know, should I keep the stone? Should I keep, you know, the stone? So it's saying yes. Okay. Will I know? Will I know when I need to take the stone somewhere? Yes. That means for pickup. Because I have a video you can go look on my Consciousness of Economics and Urban Farm Project channel. I think it's called like Triggers, Port Keys, and something else. But, you know, I get a lot of this stuff that I end up getting. They're like applications, right? Or, you know, computer things that you would put in your computer that download data. It's been happening to me like my entire life. Okay, so, all right. Should I carry it more on my person these days? No. Should I put it in my bag that I carry with me? Not so much information on that. Okay, should I just leave it where it's at by my computer? Okay, so that's what it's going to say. All right, so let's find something that I can douse. Sorry, my ear is just itching up a storm. Okay, I want to see. Okay, let's do this. Okay, and then we'll finish it up. Let me see this. All right. So I've just got some bone up, and this is a hemp oil. Okay, so I'm just gonna, let me see if I can do this. All right. I don't think I can see it. I can't really see it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this guy here. You might not be able to see it. And I'm just going to say, what is the spin ratio on the bone up? And so I'm going to 1 to 10, you know, how good is bone up for fixing bones? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's good. All right. All right. Here's the hemp oil. All right. How good is the hemp oil for doing the processes that it needs to do? A scale of 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we got 2 strong items. Okay. Oop. Uh-oh. It's all right. We'll just kind of let it flop over for now. All right. It's too much action. We're getting too excited. There's actually a lot of energy that's going on. It's kind of crazy. Okay. By the pendulum standard, do you think that for me that a liquid or oil is more beneficial than a powder or a supplement? Is the oil better, the oil or water, or is the supplement better? And it's going to go with the supplement. Okay, and it may change, you know, but I was taking a lot more liquid stuff, like, you know, DM 100. I take an iodine. I take some other herbal remedies, you know, in tincture form, but so it's saying, you know, right now supplements is going to be more beneficial for me. So you can do that. The other thing too is like, let's see. So we're looking at supplements. So I've got a raven feather. And so that the raven gave to me a couple weeks ago. All right. So I'm just going to just ask in general what kind of energy, you know, the raven feather has. So it's always going to have pretty good energy. So you can see how it's going to spin. And that's what mostly I use a lot of my, you know, things for, is just different areas of land. I really like to use it, you know, in farming stuff, like, you know, putting a compost pile, where I should put the ponds, water, looking for stuck energy, trying to read the energy, seeing if there's plants or trees that I could put in there to change it. I usually always can use iron stakes to shift that energy point. It's like an acupuncture needle, right? So, and I like to use trees and plants as, you know, smaller acupuncture needles, right? Long term, you know, if you need a long-term balancer, you know, you're going to use a tree, right? That can live like 200 or 300 years, not a plant that, you know, may only live 1 season or 2 seasons. So just, you know, some different things to think about. All right, hopefully it has been insightful and inspiring. And yeah, so next week we'll talk more about pendulum, and that'll be the final class on the pendulum. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.